T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
That is right, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, and this is the news edition. Welcome to the news. Now, normally I am by myself. Your senior writer, your host here, Nikki Bougie. Normally I'm by myself, but today I am with my tag team partner, of course, the most dominating tag team in women's wrestling talk, the Salt Shakkas. Oh my goodness.
It's, somehow, some way, we always find ourselves being back together. Somehow, some way.
I do not understand, to be honest, because
I think you do understand. But we don't have to really dive a lot into as to why I am here or why I will forever be here on Mondays. With Nikki doing the news.
Oh no, well, you guys, I've been doing the news now for 2 weeks and it has been a struggle. So I decided to bring in some reinforcements for the remainder of the time that we will be here, and that is forever. But yes, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to the news edition, Women's Wrestling Talk on Monday. We have news on Thursdays as well, so make sure you check that out. But we are here. I have to be very honest. On the hunt for news, especially pertaining to the women, Sasha and Naomi have overshadowed every story, anything that I really have, had a grasp of finding. Like every other article, any publication is something regarding the Sasha and Naomi situation. And of course, you and Stephanie talked about it very intensively on SmackDown. But of course, for those that don't know, they have Sasha Banks and Naomi are no longer your WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They have been relinquished. Now, we aren't sure. We don't know. We don't know what happened. All we're seeing is report after report after report. But we do know they are no longer champions. According to WWE, they walked out. And now we're seeing other things transpire over social media. Of course, the power of social media is crazy nowadays. And there will be a tournament moving forward regarding who becomes the tag team champions. Now, we saw after that announcement was made, of course, they are suspended indefinitely as well. A lot of people joked online and were like, what are y'all, how are y'all going to have a tournament with two teams?
I mean, I told you they're going to bring the Party Bus girls up down in NXT. So somebody made a bracket and was like, it's only going to be two teams fighting for these titles.
Yikes.
At this point. I mean, unless you're going to do, once you're done with this whole Rhea and Liv and
Mm-hmm.
Bullet Club and all that other stuff going about their business. Maybe it's possible that we can finally maybe get those who've been wanting to have Alexa and Liv be a tag.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, Sam.
And things are still transpiring too. I mean, we saw Snoop Dogg over the weekend post some pictures with Sasha, and then we saw a ton of videos posted of her just, living her life and having a good time. I personally think that I will be at peace once this is all over.
Yeah.
Because as a fan, it is very draining. It has been draining since Monday because we were really lit. We were, for the post show, we were left with
Nothing.
just nothing.
Like just that little brief of information and just that little bit of
No
what
one
is
was
being
even
given
talking
from
about
us.
anything else.
No, nobody talked about what happened on the show. Nobody even knew that this person won or that it became a bit of a distraction because majority of everybody's focus turned to social media, trying to figure out what the top wrestling journalists are going to put out that where they got their connects over there in WWE that's going to give them some information that is needed. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like you're just sitting here fishing and looking, and there's really not much else that really can be said. I mean, with Naomi taking WWE out of her bio, you know what I'm saying, and like actually changing her, her what kind of putting her name is Trinity Fatu, which her, her
The
married name.
merge is
The
really
merge is
stuck
going.
out
The
to
merge
me.
is really what sparked a lot of this.
Yeah.
When people were searching to find out that they didn't have Sasha stuff up there and they had Naomi stuff up there on the WWE shop, is really starting to have people like, okay, now this has to be something that's like really serious. For you guys to take down their merge is crazy. Now I know that on that other side,
and it was
there
immediate.
are people that still think it's a work.
Yeah.
So I mean, this could be honestly, if this is a work, this is probably one of the greatest storylines that has went down in WWE history for women.
For women, yeah,
At
definitely.
that,
Overall, to be honest, because I mean,
nobody's just in an uproar about Sasha and Naomi the way that they
especially,
are
and
now.
I'll say in the time of social media, because of course back then with the screw job and everything that happened with Stone Cold and stuff like that, I'm sure social media would have been around. It would have went crazy. But in this day and age, Sasha and Naomi, this is, if it's a work, it's gonna be crazy. And even if it's not, it's still gonna go down as one of the most unwelcoming, if that's correct, and the most unorganized story that I've ever dealt with.
Very
Ever.
much so.
Like it's draining because all I want to hear from is Sasha and Naomi. I don't care about anybody else. I don't want to hear the rumors because there's so much. And this is the issue that I have with this story, is that there's been so much misinformation put out. Not only that, now there are being reports being made by other people who say, well, Sasha was given the tag team opportunity with Naomi to kind of, make up for her being pushed out the way, because people are saying, and I don't even think it's people saying, I think it's people wanted Charlotte and Sasha. That's what people wanted. But if you remember, Charlotte did an interview and she had been saying that she had been wanting Ronda on the big stage for quite some time. I think that what happens with stories like this is you build other things. So now there's a speculation to our next story on Ronda's next opponent. Now, this to me is very complicated because now reports are coming out saying that, oh, they wanted it to be Sasha and Ronda at Hell in a Cell, or now, and now we see her having a match with Raquel, a title opportunity. Now we're hearing about a tournament. We're not, the questions that have a rise with just this
Mm-hmm.
affect everybody.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, like, who do you think they're gonna put up against Ronda Rousey?
Mm. Honestly, you really can't say who it could be at this time. I
Hmm.
mean, from what I've read, they're suggesting maybe Natalia and then Shayna as two people who could be her next competitors.
Hmm.
I mean, come on now, like nobody's gonna take Aaliyah seriously being the ring runner out with.
Not with Ronda. I would take her more
I just like
seriously with someone like Charlotte. And
that.
that's not even diminishing. It's
No,
just Charlotte makes people believable more than I
no.
believe Ronda. And they've made Ronda out to be like an animal. And like what's funny to me is like y'all really let Charlotte beat her at WrestleMania and turned around and now she's champion. Put her up against Aaliyah.
I guess putting them at. Hey, listen, if Aaliyah can beat Natty in what 316 something like that 317,
317. Mm-hmm.
maybe she can be running in 317 seconds.
I don't know. It could happen, honey. I listen. I think that they'll figure it out in 2 weeks because Hell in a Cell, Bianca and Oscar are already set. We don't know if they're going into the cell, but we'll see. But in lighter news, besides all the debacle going on in the WWE, we did have a beautiful wedding this weekend. The Latimeres got married. Your NWA Women's World Champion, Camille, married her husband, Thomas, over the weekend. And personally, oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. Renee was in the wedding. Renee, I always
Michelle
butcher her last. Yeah,
or Michelle?
Michelle. She
Oh,
was in the wedding. She was in the
mhm,
wedding. And we interviewed her as well.
mhm.
Um, and she was showing a lot of the clips and stuff. But I think it was really beautiful, and it was really like seeing that in their clips.
Mhm.
Really, I was just like, okay, I can get my mind off of all the craziness, you know, that's going on.
2022 is the year that these wrestlers are really getting married.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, there have been since January, there have been so many wrestlers who have been getting married.
Hmm.
I'm still not over one, but here we are. I don't even think I want to do it right now.
Here we are. Here we are.
Still mourning a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. I kind of forgot it a little bit till we brought it back up the weddings, and I'm just like, all right, thank
Yikes.
you. I
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Listen,
Say a
well, we're
little
going to
bit.
get away from wedding season and get back into the wrestling. Now, this event here,
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling Entertainment Series, will be having I think this is their first event in the
Mm-hmm.
UK, and it's going to feature some amazing talent that we've already seen before. One of the matches that we have will actually take place against CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana,
Mm-hmm.
versus Lena, formerly
Mm-hmm.
known as Nia Jax. And they will
Mm-hmm.
actually be facing each other for that women's championship at that promotion. Are you excited to see them go like?
I am. I feel like Lena and CJ. I wouldn't say that they're really good friends. I don't really know much of their relationship outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it'll be nice to actually kind of maybe see what some training and stuff CJ has kind of been doing. I know she's been doing some working on some stunts in the movies and everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it'll be quite interesting to see, the growth in her. And then when it comes to Lena, I mean, I think it's great to actually see her get back into the ring. I don't know if this is something that she's going to want to continue to do
Yeah.
or whatever, because at one point she's kind of like she's not getting back into the ring, she's like kind of done with wrestling. um But I think that this will be I would hope that with this match between these two would be a nice match. I think
Yeah.
it'll be something. I think it'll be different outside of what we seen when they were in WWE.
And from my understanding, she made like 20K over her OnlyFans.
Yeah, CJ, she did.
That
Like people be complaining about these
it's a
wrestlers,
good
like
market.
doing. People complain about wrestlers who do OnlyFans and all this and that, and yet
Yeah.
people are buying it. So what are you talking about?
Where's the correlation?
Same people who are complaining about it. You
Can we
guys
get
really
the
need to
men?
follow.
Would the men like to get
I
on
don't
the
know why the men won't get themselves followed.
like hello?
I don't know why
Honey.
the men won't get themselves. It really OnlyFans is for the women in wrestling. Like the
Yeah.
girls, they're gonna buy it. I don't really know if any women may buy some of the men OnlyFans.
But some men might buy the men's.
That is true.
There's men and I'm sure there's men and women buying the women. So
Well, yeah, but I
men
don't know.
and I think there's a lot of men out there that would buy a lot of them. Maybe not a lot of cishet men, but there's a lot of men out there that would buy OnlyFans from men.
Mm, they could be like a little bit questioning if they were, wanting to see something. Maybe they want to see what they're doing. Maybe they feel
Well,
like they're dropping something exclusive.
that's what they would like. If they like that, they're gonna buy it.
Maybe they're doing it for like research purposes or something.
Well, there's men out there that like men, so
I know that.
so they would buy it.
But there's also some who don't know if they do. They're just buying it just to be nosy.
True, or to buy it for like content and stuff.
Yeah, to post and share on Reddit because that's exactly where they're gonna leak it to. Hello.
Yeah.
So
I would like to see like
I don't care.
how it's gonna make people,
There's a lot of people making money on OnlyFans. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
taxable. It is taxable. You gotta, make sure you do your
Yeah.
report. But a lot of ways, OnlyFans is another source of income.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I know that the story with when Tony Storm, and the whole when Charlotte was originally supposed to strip her, strip her, on live TV, and then people was like, oh well, you were upset at the fact that Charlotte was supposed to strip you on TV or whatever, but you go and do OnlyFans.
And I don't even think she said she was upset. I think what she said was, and that's what's wrong with people. Like what she said was she wanted to go into a different direction, and that's exactly what they did. And I had troubles with that story because it was just like, this is always my point when it comes to Charlotte. Like of everything that was talked about, that what was talked about, but it was made in the headlines about Charlotte, but it's about Tony. And somehow the narrative is pushed to Charlotte. And I just thought that to be weird. I personally forgot about that whole thing, that whole debacle, because I felt like Tony was actually going to be the one to beat Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I think if Tony would have stuck around, I don't think Charlotte would have been champion as long as she was. I just don't think they really had anyone else to give it to besides Naomi,
Yeah. So I mean, like Naomi was the only other top star there at the time that could give Charlotte a run for her money, and we saw that in the matches that they had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When she had the opportunity to beat Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Champion, that match was solid. It was a very, very good match to the point where you would have thought that maybe Naomi would have won. Like the crowd was going crazy in that match. But I don't know. I feel like everybody is allowed to do whatever they want to do. Because at the end of the day, is it going to buy the content or you're not? Somebody else is spending this money over here. They're making extra money of their own income to do whatever the hell they want with it.
That is true.
Maybe y'all should get an OnlyFans, the ones who's complaining, and see if you can get 20K or 50K or 100K. But some of y'all probably can't.
Yeah. I mean, because honestly, like, I don't know. I just feel like, why complain about it?
There's no reason to complain about
There's
it.
no reason to complain. But also on this event as well, you will see a couple of our favorite knockouts here at Women's Wrestling Talk. Now, this is big. And I believe the date is, I think it's day, month, year.
Yeah,
Because I think
so
this is definitely taking
16.
place on June the 4th.
Yeah, it's
But
June 4th. It's just UK time and his dates are crazy.
your current Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Madison Rayne and Tennille Dashwood, will face off with Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green.
Which is
Now,
quite
I'm
interesting.
a little upset. I have to be honest. For one, I'm sure this is gonna come at some point in Impact. But I would
Yeah,
love to see this match like in
live in
soon.
Impact, I think it'd be crazy.
I think it would be crazy. Now, I don't know for sure, but I believe that they are actually, whoever wins this match will be the promotional women's tag team champions. And I think that's how a lot of these matches are since this is their first event. And I am extremely excited. Now, I want to know at home, and I'm going to ask my tag team partner too, because we love some tag team catastrophe. Who do you think is going to walk away the winners?
I mean, of course, people could say Deonna and Chelsea, but I feel like Tennille and Madison would be that wild card to swerve and actually win this match, because I mean, people are gonna look at Chelsea Green and Deonna like, damn, that's a solid team there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't expect, you will automatically go and think like, yeah, Deonna and Chelsea got this in the bag. But I think maybe Madison and Tennille will probably win the match.
Yeah, I love Madison.
Well, here they can't consider to be heels because we don't know what character they're going to be. But
we don't. But I think Tennille's gonna get a big pop, though.
Definitely,
I do feel like she's gonna get a big pop, and I think that Deonna and Chelsea are actually not gonna be able to work together if they're playing the same characters that they're playing in Impact. Now, if they intertwine the storyline, Queen of the Mountain is literally 15 days from that day. So seeing them as a team, that could cause some turmoil. I don't know. Their egos are very big, but like you said, we don't know how they're going to be acting in this promotion. We don't know if they're going to come over, because if you think about it, these are 4 heels.
Literally, that's what we're saying.
Look. What's up, Bobby?
Right there, Bobby. I don't know. Like I'm still mourning, but here we go.
Oh, you guys. But make sure you check that out. It will be streaming live on Fight TV June 4th, and we will be watching somehow, some way, just like we watched GCW this weekend. And honestly, like,
hey, we can't talk about that though.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about Dark Sheik. Defeating, I can't say it.
Lufisto. You're gonna say Lufisto. Like, why
I was gonna say Lufisto.
Why are you trying to add letters in here?
And then that match was stellar, and also like honestly, Dark Sheik like made history, beating such an icon in such an iconic area in just a moment, like the way the crowd was and just everything. That was probably my second time watching a full GCW show. But overall, I mean, it was good. And then of course, Masha Slamovich and Speedball. It was so good to really get to see Masha go at it with somebody. Like, and that match, honestly,
it was crazy.
And
Speedball
of course,
is not playing with her.
Yeah, Speedball did get the victory.
Child, I mean, he kicked the hell out of her.
He did.
3 seconds after the bell rang, That foot was to her face, child. She was in that corner, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is how we're gonna do it." I was like, "Oh, I hope Speedball like to do that backflip to the double knees to the back."
Mm-hmm.
He tried to do it twice on her
Mm-hmm.
and miss, and I was like, "Oh Lord, Masha, get your ass up, get up and fight back."
Cause
This
girl,
man is beating your ass. Get up.
I'm talking about girl. It was no
But she
holds
has a
barred.
really nice offense, though. I will say that, and like I said, it does like seeing her, like her wrestling outside of Impact, really does allow people who only watch her on Impact get to
Mm-hmm.
see like her in ring ability. In Impact, of course, we know she do a lot of she tend to have a lot of squash matches or like matches to kind of build her up, and everything like that. So, I mean, to see her wrestle outside of Impact in a
Mm-hmm.
lengthy match with Speedball, Masha is really good.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to see if this match is already ended, but it was actually a part of the news as
Mm-hmm.
well. But we also had Team Bussy, can't forget.
Child,
Team Bussy came
Bussy
through
on
with the
fire.
retain.
Their Bussy is on fire.
The Bussy's on fire. You guys
I
ever
remember I
see?
tweeted that Polar, the one who was
Uh-huh.
doing the commentary, she liked my tweet. I
Yeah, me
was like,
too.
I'm like, what?
I
Hello?
know she was going through all of the
Yeah, I believe it. It's
I
like
was like,
I was
girl.
screaming. I was like, they're on what?
I don't know if
What
this
is
match has already taken place. I have no idea, but maybe Bobby knows. But this was also one of the matches we were gonna tell you guys to make sure you check out tonight as well. Dark is actually on as of now, but I'm not sure if the match has already happened. Mercedes Martinez. I was gonna say Madison Rain for some reason.
Oh yeah,
Mercedes.
it already happened. Mercedes won.
Okay, so there's an update on that for those that haven't watched it. I would still go back and watch it because, I mean, Mercedes has really just put on a lot of great matches this year, and I'm
Mhm.
sure this is just another one to add to the cab
And
door.
then the girl Han, she won. She's a inaugural Sherry Martel Classic winner. She
Right.
is. Yeah, she is. That's the same one who
Dang,
won
that's the same
the
one.
Sherry Martel Classic in
Mm.
back in April. So yeah. Hmm.
Oh. Well, sticking it, with AEW. Serena D will be facing Thunder Rosa Memorial Day weekend, Double or Nothing, Las Vegas for the AEW Women's World Championship. And, she had a lot to say
Hmm.
about, and I talk about this sometimes, but, Tony Khan and the women's division, they always get a lot of heat.
Hmm.
And my only, and this may sound a little shady, but I think a lot of people need to be updated on a lot of the AEW stuff. I think
Yeah.
when people say that, I think that it's in an 8 to 9 month time frame. So when
Hmm.
people complain about AEW, I'm and this is just me, I have to
Hmm.
question it a little bit because I'm like, are you watching the product? Were you
Right.
there on May 4th? I just want
Hmm.
to know. That's my only were you there on May 4th? Even when they didn't have enough, well, I'm not gonna say enough
Yeah.
time, but even if they with the time that they had, there's been some great times for the
Mhm.
women's division. Look at what they're doing with the Owen Hart tournament. I've enjoyed it, honestly.
Yeah. It's been
Uh,
really good.
but Serena Deeb, she talks to Under the Ring, and I'm just going to read some of what she said. And this is just pertaining to the state of the AEW women's division. So she says there's a lot of chatter about it. Tony has had his hands on the pulse with everything in wrestling. He's been doing so much more with the women. We're in a really good spot right now. She goes on to talk about Tony Storm. There are people who have untaped potential who, within the next coming years, will surface as main contenders. There's a lot of young talent that, from the Nightmare Factory and Dustin School in Texas, they are training people the right way. So for her to say that, someone who is a
Hmm.
veteran, who is seen as a locker room leader, I think that there has to be a time where we stop being so critical and
Hmm.
start
Yeah.
to acknowledge the progression. Are we ever going to acknowledge the progression that Tony Khan has made? Are we just gonna always look back at the negative
Yeah.
or the personal? Are we gonna look at it from a business and a company standpoint, or are we gonna keep our emotions attached to old things? And I like
Mm-hmm.
what she says, because she goes on to say, what we have at AEW is a lot more of a sisterhood. And she talks about how it reminds her of Shimmer. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think what we're really seeing is how Tony Khan is trying to find the fix,
Yeah.
trying to see. He said it before. He wanted to build Jade like he did Britt. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we talked about this last night. Jade is the top star in AEW right now. She's the top champion.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sticking to it. And I think she's been built. To me, she's no longer green. I think she's actually a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And I think that it takes time, and I don't think that a lot of people realize, that it's a new company, and it sucks, but you can't expect everyone to put women's wrestling first.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to really say, hey, like, yo, like, I know it may not be your thing, or I know it may not be like something that you're fully throttled educated in, and I'm not the biggest Thunder Rosa fan, but I will say this: with the enhancement of Britt Baker, with the introduction of Thunder Rosa, with the bringing of Jade and Mercedes
Mm-hmm.
Martinez, with the dynamic of Anna Jay, even with Ruby, I believe that there has been much more of a mold that's changed,
Yeah.
that people tend to still think that we're in, and then people have issues with. I agree that Mercedes Martinez and Trish Adora definitely are a main event match. I just, when people complain about it being on Dark, I just don't know what are we complaining about.
I think it's the fact that maybe that because it's on dark, it means it to their eyes, it's like, well, maybe we don't have time to go to watch dark because we're doing other things. You know what I'm saying? But you can still go back and watch it.
Always, and that's the issue.
You can always go if you miss it, you can always go back and watch it. There are ways to go back and watch different shows that you can catch up all the time.
On
I
time.
mean, I don't get me wrong. In the beginning, you know, what I'm saying I when I had my issues in regards to the women as well. I'm like, okay, you know, women, you know, you were great wrestlers. It was just a way to.
Oh no. Are we losing her?
I'm cutting out.
No. You guys, bear with us. Santana is getting back. Oh. Wait. Maybe if I dance.
I don't know. Am I here?
I can hear you a little bit. It's going out. Okay. Oh. I think you're back. No. Okay. Well, until then, until we get Santana back, I do agree though. I think that there is a lot of room still for AEW to grow. I think what they're doing with the On Heart tournament is absolutely amazing. And she is back.
This thing is see, I have like Lord, sometimes my internet it just doesn't like me a lot of times. But like I said, I have my issue with the women,
Yeah.
in regards to like the women's division, not them getting a lot of love and everything. But when I would actually take the time to watch Dark, that's where all the women would be. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, they're just women who are either talent enhancements or a way for them to kind of build their stars before they kind of move over to, going to Dynamite and everything like that, or when they added Rampage, it allowed to add more women on that show, even if it's just one woman's match. You was able to see that, and I think at some point they even had like two or three women's matches on Rampage one time. So I mean, it's a lot of growth that's happening. I think that those who are still complaining about it are the ones who are just wanting something to complain about, and because they really don't take the time to watch it. They may say that they watch it, but their mindset is still stuck on, well, it's not enough. You're not doing it like this company is doing. And you can't base anyone's growth or pace on somebody else's company that's been here for years.
It took WWE like 70 years.
It's still, and look what's going on now. It's still not.
It's still
but here's
issue.
the thing, though. What I can say is that when it comes to the wrestling ability in WWE, there are some who are like up here, and then there are some people who's like right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? We can't really say we have someone who's like low to the ground.
Yeah.
But we can say we have some people who are like in the middle, but you also know the ones that's like at the top that's like really, really excellent. Whether they've been released or they still with the company or they left or whatever. You can show and tell and see that the fact that these women are really good. You know?
And those that trained in the Performance Center, no matter where they went,
you can tell that WWE kind of groomed them a little bit to be great, to know who they are a little bit, even if they had shitty storylines.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
you just gotta work with people. It's just like being on a job. You're going to being introduced to a new job. So you're not gonna know what you're expecting. But you gotta go in there with an open mind. And I think a lot of people went in with an open mind and then kind of just settled in on the kinks and didn't allow themselves to see past it.
Yeah.
So
now we all know it may not be news to everyone, but it may be news to some if you have not been paying attention. Okay. Now, before I get into this, we have an Impact Wrestling post show every single Thursday. Okay. Now, you may not know, or you may know, Queen of the Mountain, first time ever. First time ever. Okay. This is crazy, right? So with all of these women, it's we're on the road to Slammiversary. And Mia Yim has made her debut back in Impact Wrestling. It was announced last week that she, signed a short-term contract. Oh God. We'll share that later. Oh, that's awful.
What?
That's so awful. Go on Sean Rossap page.
Okay.
It's just about tonight, Monday Night Raw.
But so she signed a short-term contract.
Right.
And but I'm happy that Mia Yim is back. Yeah. I liked her in WWE, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean it's nice to see her, when I actually got the chance to watch her interview earlier, just a little bit of it before I had to go back to work.
With Denise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I mean, I got a chance to watch it, kind of just watching it and everything. And it was just like when she spoke about like being taken as like a joke or whatever, it was just like, you kind of never know what a lot of these wrestlers are dealing with when they're in contracts with certain companies.
Correct.
It's never to bash anyone because I'm not the bashing company person. Like a lot of marks are. But I just say that, I just say that, like not every company is fitting for everyone.
Correct.
Sometimes you go and you experience things, you do learn some things there, and you just kind of take what you learn and you implement it to the best of your ability at another place that you really call home. Impact is Mia Yim's home. It is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
It's
It's
where
similar.
she pretty much had a pretty nice career at
Mhm.
before moving over to WWE and doing some things on the indies and whatnot. So to see her grow is amazing. To know that she was able to have the creative freedom to figure out what she wanted to do. Not a lot of people have that.
Right.
So it was nice for them to have that. But
It is.
you can read some of the quotes that you got from the interview and everything.
Okay, let me read some of these because it's a really long. She went in. I
Yeah,
more so want to focus on. I don't even like because you summed up everything with WWE and her
yeah.
character of Reckoning, her time with NXT. It
Mm-hmm.
was reported that Charlotte Flair wanted to work with her along with
Yeah.
Candice LeRae and even dropped to Candice LeRae or Mia Yim
Mm-hmm.
and work with them on the mic. If you remember in NXT, Mia Yim interviewed Charlotte Flair and it was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be this big thing, but then Charlotte ended up dropping because they wanted her on Raw.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I want to focus on what she talks about with Gail. And she says, I'm
Yeah.
close friends with Gail Kim, and I have been talking with her ever since I left Impact the first time. We had been talking, and I originally didn't want to sign anywhere or do TV. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but Gail was putting over the company, the talent, Scott, everything. With Gail
Mm-hmm.
being in a position and impact as the head of the women's division, I had no question or second guesses or hesitation that if I were to go to Impact under Gail's leadership, everything was going to be fine. I think that's very important, no matter wrestling or not. Having a woman, another woman, as a woman wrestler, being given that confidence and that marquee of like no matter what happens, I'm gonna
I
make
got you.
sure I got you. And we've seen Gail Kim work even with the men. You know, she
Mm-hmm.
was the one that gave Trey Miguel. I shouldn't even know this, remember this, but she was the one that gave Trey Miguel the opportunity. You know, when he wanted to face Steve Macklin
Mm-hmm.
at Hard to Kill, and you know that to me, I just feel like having that representation and having someone like Gail Kim helps,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's good to see Mia be put back into that mold because we all know the history she has with Gail, she has with
Mm-hmm.
Rosemary. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even with Taya,
Yeah.
even with Chelsea, Deonna. I mean, this match is
Yes, it
turning
is.
into a lot, and I love to see. I like that we got to see, you know, Denise and Mia really have a heartfelt conversation about things because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, she talks about it, her being back in Impact, and I quote, "It's an amazing and incredible feeling just to know that I know a majority of these people from the last time I was there to meeting new people where I felt like I've known them forever, like Savannah and
Mm-hmm.
Giselle
That's
Shaw, of course, you know."
mm-hmm.
Not just talent, but production and office. I've never worked with Scott Demore before, but man, he is cool. He's cool. He's cool to sit back and talk with. It's nice. It's a really nice freedom. She goes on to say that, and she was explaining how she was treated differently in Impact compared to everywhere else. She uses one word and she says freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's been talked about. Savannah Evans talked to us about that in her match as well when she was at Impact. And she said she had never been given that much time. Same
Mm-hmm.
with other people. So I think Deonna talked about it too. Um, and so hearing that, you know, like you don't know who back there in WWE was giving her these issues, so it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to pinpoint. But I will say that it's good to when she came out at Under Siege, it felt right.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back as Mia Yim, crazy. Keeping that name, crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like she never left.
No,
And
but
I'm
she
ready
took
to see
time
her
off.
gear for Slamversary.
Same. I'm very excited. I'm ready to just see her interest in person.
Mhm.
Because when I saw it, I thought it was cool as fuck. I thought it was very much game life. Uh, it was nice. Honestly.
I'm only laughing because I thought it was Trey telling.
Now, why the hell would Trey become
That's what I said. I was like, why is Trey telling? I was like, what? And then I looked and I was just like, whoa. I was like, then I got mad because I was like, on Deonna though? Wow, I was like, on Deonna? Because somebody had already told me that they were like, hey, because I'm not big, don't spoil it for me type person. Because I don't know, I'm just not like that. But they said it, and I was just like, oh, she's definitely coming out for Tasha, right? So
yeah, you thought.
I thought Deonna like smacks Taya with the belt, and next minute you know, it goes dark, and I'm just like, oh, like maybe they're just telling them to get ready for the next match, Oh, there it is, Mia Yim. I'm like, holy crap. So yeah, welcome back, Mia. HBIC in the building. Put your number 2s in the air. Good luck to all of the competitors at Queen of the Mountain. I just feel like this will always be like one of those moments where it's like I just can't even believe Queen of the Mountain is actually still even happening.
Right. I mean, it's the first time ever for women, and Impact is really changing the mold for the women with the first Ultimate X match for the women. Now the first ever Queen of the Mountain, and for Tasha Steelz to be the only Black woman and the first Black woman, the first Afro Latina to be a part of both of these events, it's amazing for her. It's
if
amazing.
She wins,
it'll be crazy.
If she wins both of these,
she's definitely like, there's been like a whole 360 change with her from when she first started with Impact to where she is now. There's a lot of growth in Tasha Steelz that sometimes to this day she still gets hate for what reason I really don't understand. But that girl,
her theme music go hard, dude.
It does.
Like
it fits her so bad. It fits her.
It does. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. And of course, we announced it last week as well. She will be at Battle Slam. Tasha Steelz, the Impact Knockouts World Champion. Match has not been set yet, but make sure you get your tickets if you plan to go. We're actually going to end the news with all things Impact, actually. We have a couple more stories, one story, and then a couple feature matches that we'll give you to be looking out for this weekend as well. Some indie promotions. So Tenille Dashwood will be featured in the Crimson Killers.
Is she gonna look like that?
I don't know, but like I'm very curious to see, like, are the Knockouts about to like
get their acting thing going?
Are we about to see, like, because when I saw this, I instantly thought of Madison Rain. I was just like instantly thought of her, and then I thought about CJ Perry, and I wonder, is she gonna be in Impact since she's been wrestling? She's gonna be wrestling. I wonder if those women that are featured on that WES, are some of them gonna go to Impact? Because what this is doing for me is like, okay, we're starting to break a different mold. Like, WWE is not going to be the only company that does movies and press and all these features. We got to get in our bag too. And I just think when I heard this, I thought it was absolutely, like, I'm actually ready to see what it's about. Wrestling meets acting is always a good way to keep your name relevant. And especially if you have a certain, if you have a look that they're looking for, why not capitalize on it?
Right.
Makes sense. I don't know. She looks like she's going to be playing a villain.
She does. I mean, she looks good, honestly. She looks really, really good. I believe if this is who she's supposed to be, Um, I don't know what the Crimson Killers are going to be about, but I'm very interested to see. And Jesus Christ, they stomping up here. Like, my
Oh
God.
wow.
I'm like,
Stone.
hey,
Whew. But
about to
yeah,
get
congrats to Tennille
my
Dashwood on her role. On her role, honey. We can't wait to see it. Maybe it'll be on Tubi if it's not in the big screens.
Why Tubi though? Like,
It's free.
why would you think Tubi? Like, listen, I know Danny Limelight is on there for 3 seconds, but
Wow.
you ain't gotta do Tennille like that. Think she gonna be put on Tubi?
Wow. The
Yeah, I
disrespect.
called him out. Yeah, I called him out. I'm
What did he do?
What did he not do with his botchy ass?
What? That man felt bad. Wow. Shout out to Danny Limelight though. Wow, that I'm definitely have to go. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to. Yeah, that is funny. I said Tubi only because if it's not in the theaters, then yeah, like I want it to be free.
Right, JD, a red box release.
Sorry, I thought Tubi
She
was.
didn't put her ass on bootleg already.
She said
somebody walking through the
said Danny.
I was just saying, hey.
Yo, shout out to the GOAT, man. Shout out to the GOAT. But yes, last but not least, the virtuoso may not be your AAA Reina Del Reign champion anymore, or your Knockouts world champion for now. However, she is booked and busy, and these are two very interesting matches that she will be having over the Memorial Day weekend and over some time. So the first match she'll be in my neck of the woods, well, East Tennessee, Cedarville, Tennessee, Independent Uprising. No, I have to work.
Oh, where is it at Cedarville?
It's outside of Knoxville.
Oh, child, that's on the other side of the world.
Yep.
That's like
Friday, May 27th, Deonna Purrazzo will take on Alice Corley, I think I'm saying that right. In a one-on-one match for Independent Rising, KFW Wrestling, in Cedarville, Tennessee. Great promotion, and I mean, honestly, Deonna's traveling and doing. Oh my God, they're still doing it.
Like, you don't hear that? They're not walking now, but goddamn, relax.
Oh, I hear it.
You hear that? They're making all these damn noise up in here. Like, do you not hear?
Yeah, I can hear it. If we find a way to stream this match, we will. And then the last match is actually will be presented on Royal Wrestling 22. It is Deonna Purrazzo versus Tootie Lynn. I honestly think that this match is gonna pop and have some people really paying attention to both of these women if you haven't already, to be honest. But those are our featured matches of the week. You guys, we will be here back again tonight. Do not forget.
You get a double dose of the Salt Shakkas.
You do. Oh my goodness. We will be back literally. And of course, we have to go and watch Monday Night Raw. So we can report it all. We will be back here literally in 3 hours tops. Well, 3 hours and a half tops. We will be giving you the post show for Monday Night Raw and any other things that we have, any updates that we get from, the whole Sasha Banks and Naomi thing, because honestly, this is turning into the case. Well, not a case, but the story of the year.
This is definitely some bold and a beautiful shit.
Okay. Now maybe we would, who knows? They may. Oh, I have on my Bliss shirt.
You do. What's next for Alexa Bliss? I mean, we do have Oscar and Becky, having a face-to-face thing to discuss why Becky Lynch lost this week.
I washed clothes and just randomly put this on.
I'm screaming.
Oh.
Anyway, so and before we go ahead and close out, we still got 3 minutes left, 6 minutes left actually. Yeah. So just kind of close out everything. Like I said, this month is still Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We're going on the way up to day 31st, where you meet the final boss. And like I always say, if you don't know who the final boss is, you'll find out on the last day of May. Today we did a tribute to Hannah, the young lady who committed suicide last year. So there was an article put out highlighting her and remembering her for the amazing talent that she was, and so young, so young that she was, and so beautiful too. So yeah, that was that. And then next month, of course, is Pride Month. So of course, we're going to be highlighting and speaking to some wrestlers of the community, more so learning more about their story, their journey. Maybe not. We probably won't go too deep into person, but more so like their journey in the wrestling world, being a part of the community, how they're viewed, how they're treated, some connections that they have made, and so on and so forth. So we do have some articles getting geared up for that as well. Some very much opinionated pieces being created. Nikki is the forefront of this. It's not me this time. I didn't do any of this. I didn't do any of this. Normally, a lot of the ideas be brought to me, and
Let's hope we can get Dark Chic.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, I think we'll be able to reach out to her and see if she would be available to hop on a panel with us. Maybe learn a little more about her for those who are not familiar with her. Maybe get Kid Bandit as well. I know a lot of people are familiar with them. So there was just a lot of other people. Just we want to try to gun for Sonny Kiss if possible. We want to try to gun for him. Would love to. I think that'd be great, honestly. But yeah, so that's pretty much kind of what's gearing up for next month. Outside of us, Salt Shakkas being an appearance at Slammiversary, June 19th, which is Juneteenth. There's also a celebration of that as well. So I mean, this month we're on our last full week, you guys. We really are. We're going to be gearing up for Double or Nothing this week. One of our hosts, Al, a part of the Dynamite Dolls, will be in attendance. And you can find me and Nikki here doing a post show for Double or Nothing. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Yeah. Run down this week. Okay, so Tuesday, I think we are going to be having a panel to kind of close out Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month next week. We will be. So make sure you tune in for that. And this week, of course, Wednesday, Mika and Al, Dynamite Dolls for AEW, AEW Dynamite. Thursday, No Creek Squad. You have to come back the week after next to keep it from the Creek Squad.
Yeah, you do.
And then
matter of fact, hold on. For those that don't know.
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like.
So make sure you check that out. Hey, that joint go hard.
Why we didn't get no intro like this?
We need Polo on the remix.
Absolutely not. But anyway, as I continue to close this thing out, on Thursday, of course, you have the news. It's not going to be me and TK, so sad faces, I know. But you will, be surprised that you do have Ella and Candace doing the news this week, so be on the lookout for that. Also, Katrina and Stephanie will be doing NXT 2.0 NXT UK recap. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
I'm so sorry.
I do apologize.
I am sorry to your mother.
Shout out to moms. And then following that same day, Impact, of course, with us, the Salt Shakkas, the most dominating tag team in women's wrestling talk history, the originators, the OGs, the creators, the blueprint, the standard, the marquee, the one is gonna go on your Mount Rushmore of tag teams in women's wrestling talk history. We're probably gonna take over the whole thing because there's nobody better than us. And that's a fact.
And that's a big Fendi fact.
I told him about her business. I'm a man now. JD, you're crazy. Screaming. And then on Friday is Rampage and SmackDown after show with me and Stephanie. And of course, on Saturday with Mika Emily and Katrina giving you the indie roundup
Yep.
of the week. And then, of course, turn back around again for Turnbuckle Glam, no pun intended, with me, Nikki, and Mika and Al. And that's that for this week. Make sure you guys, we don't have a show on Tuesday, obviously, but make sure you do go back and look and watch all of our shows, interviews, and stuff like that on YouTube and on Twitch when it decides it wants to disappear. But definitely go check it out on YouTube. You can follow us on Women's Right to Talk, Instagram and Twitter. You can also check out our website, womensrighttotalk.com. You can also Google me at Dreon to tell them to find me. We run out of time because Raw has officially started.
Raw has started. I'm over here trying to watch, but it ain't happening. So you guys, peace in the Middle East.
You can find me bougie.
Don't find me. Charlotte follows me now.
You can find her. You can definitely go talk to Nikki. You can chat it up with Nikki.
Yeah, go please, y'all. If y'all are ever bored, please ask me anything. Bobby knows. Bobby sends me everything. Yes. And he is so like helpful when I'm trying to find stuff, when I'm trying to find like indies matches and anything. So please add me. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always available. But yeah, Women's Wrestling Talk, of course, let it be known. You have been rocking with the best. The Salt Shakkas, the most dominating tag team, first of all. The most dominating, the undisputed, the first, the original. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know why you girls bother at this point. Like, give it up. It's us. And it's only us on Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show
on the planet.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet.